Good morning, everybody. Welcome to KAOS Livestream number 48. We're working on accelerating direct democracy. Of course, you know Brian, myself, if you've tuned in on every one of our episodes.
Yeah.
So, Brian, do you have anything new to add in reference to how we're going along on your end on KAOS? I know you were waiting on the website,
Yeah.
which
Yeah.
I'll have that up. I'll have the bulk of it up today. I just won't have that one section, like I said before our meeting, which
Yeah.
I don't
So
think that's detrimental to the site.
no. Yeah.
Honestly, I mean, you've covered pretty much everything else in all the other pages, so
Yeah. Yeah.
we'll be,
Yeah. It's
we'll
mostly
be good.
just the blogs and that. I mean, it's pretty, it's important stuff, but it's not as important as the other stuff, and it's really just kind of fills it out a lot. Uh,
Right, gives a little more
Compared to
filling.
before.
Yeah,
And
and
it
I'll
covers a
get
lot of.
that up. I'll
Yeah.
get that up real quick. I'm still working on layouts and things like that, so it comes out nice looking and helps direct people to the
Yeah.
information and that. So,
Yeah.
uh, that's good. That's good.
Yeah.
Um, have you talked any more to anyone dealing with Game B, Plan B,
Um,
whatever it was?
I've been having a few emails back and forth with Sharon, and I'm going to
Okay.
follow it up with another one this week. And other than that, no, but I've been learning a lot more about Jim Rutt. That's the main guy that I want to get a hold of. And
Right.
Sharon's going to give me an introduction to Jim. And
Awesome.
yeah, yeah, so just kind of understanding the way he thinks and how he views the world, and kind of I can understand, I can see where his criticisms of the chaos system are going to be. So I can really kind of answer, you know, try to answer these questions for him, and get it. Leave his these areas that I can see he's going to be the most concerned with. Um, so anyway, I'm feeling pretty confident if I get a chance to talk to Jim that we can have a really good conversation, and that I hopefully can get him on board. And
Awesome.
yeah, so
So it's
he's a
even more
very
important
wealthy.
for me to try to get that website up before you're meeting with Jim so he can actually go in and look at our
Yeah.
process.
Well, I'm waiting. I'm waiting. So that's why there's no huge rush for you, because I'm not going to make that step until the website's up and running well.
Right.
And then I want to do some more posting on Reddit about it,
Hmm.
just to make sure, yeah, to feel things out a little bit and work on my how I defend our position and stuff like that with some other people before I actually talk to Jim.
And try
And
not to be aggressive or argumentative about
yeah,
it.
yeah,
I know you
yes,
said
yes.
that was one of your problems. Is you have a
Yes,
tendency to be a
yes.
little aggressive towards it.
Yeah, or just basically, uh, uh, being nicer about it in a way that I'm not coming across as if I'm calling people stupid because they don't understand, or because I think that they're not thinking the right way, or there's a lot of hesitation out there when it comes to majorities, and there's a lot of people out there, and kind of rightfully think that people are making that the majority of people out there in the world are making bad decisions. I have arguments against that, but they say, well, the people voted Trump in, and so the people have spoken, and that's the majority, and you can see how bad they are at making decisions. But I have a lot of arguments about that, and I don't think that
Yeah.
represents the majority. And I think
Right.
that's the party really funneling, or you really focusing and giving you almost no choices, right?
Hmm.
You only had originally in the
Oops, you froze up there, Brian. Apparently,
there.
Brian's out there. Yeah, I'm still here. You
Yeah,
froze up for a moment there.
yeah. That's my bad internet. God, I'm hoping things are gonna. I'm hoping that. That's another thing. If I do have have a discussion with, I got to find a better place where I can do these live stream things like this, um,
Hmm.
so that I don't have problems like this when I'm having a discussion with Jim. I'm really really hoping that we'll get our fiber optics in here sometime soon. We're supposed to get fiber optics. All right, things are getting slowed down the way I think because of our winter just won't quit. I don't know if you've heard,
Yeah.
but we got hit with
Oh,
a big winter storm.
Yeah, we've been getting hit with some cold stuff down here too in Texas.
Yeah.
We've had our temperatures just going all over the place. Like, what the
Well,
heck's
hell, you
going
had
on?
a
This
heat
isn't
wave.
spring.
Yeah, but you had a heat wave first, and then you went right back down, eh, or what? Isn't that
Yeah.
what happened?
Yeah, we had a nice heat wave. Everything was starting to warm up, come up the spring, and then we had this Arctic blast come in and drop our temperatures down to freezing like overnight.
Yeah.
That's difficult here in Texas because we're not designed for that here.
No. You
Our
don't have winter
houses aren't really
tires or anything.
designed for it.
Yeah. Yeah, right now, almost all the snow is gone. It was looking very spring-like. And then, boom, in the last couple of days, we've got about 6-8 inches of snow. So it's,
Oh, wow.
Yeah, we're right back in the midwinter is what it looks like outside right now.
Interesting. The weather pattern's really screwing up lately. I don't know what's going on with it. It's part of that El Nino or weather system, but still, it just
Here,
wreaks havoc on everything.
yeah. I mean, it's not total. I mean, it's uncommon, but it does happen. We right up until the end of May, things like this can happen. I've seen pretty bad snowstorms right at the end of May. So it's not unheard
the
of.
drawback being so far north.
Yes.
Because you guys are a lot closer to the northern equatorial plate up there for the Arctic Circle and that. So
Yeah.
you get that brush of cold air a lot quicker than everybody else does.
Yeah,
That's got to be harsh.
We're always really eager for our summer to come, and May long weekend is a really big deal to go camping. And sometimes you go camping and you wake up and you're in the snow. So it could be pretty rough camping. May long
So
weekend.
make sure you take your vacations in Canada definitely in the summer.
Oh yeah.
Wow.
My wife refuses to travel any further north than what we're at right now. If we ever go anywhere, it's always got to be south.
Well, hopefully things straighten up where sometime you guys can come clear down here for South and we could meet and get a chance to get together and have a gathering with us all in person. And, you know, that would be awesome.
Yes, it would be, but I don't know if I have some legal problems when it comes to going into the United States.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, you know, some charges from way back when, you know, possession of marijuana, stuff like that. And it's still tough to get across the border right now with you know, even minor charges and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I
that sucks. It kind of limits you on your ability to do anything. It's like, you know,
I'm
I
scared
should
to try
be
to
able
book
to go visit.
Yeah. I'm scared to try to book an airplane because, you know, if you can't get on board, well, then you kind of wasted your money. So, you know, but to drive across years and years ago, we drove across the border and it wasn't too much of an issue. But they didn't have good computers then. They didn't check everybody as well as they check them now, right?
Yeah.
You know, so these days, hell, they check your phone and they go through your history on your phone and everything. Jeez.
Oh, they're doing that just to go across country here in the United States. I mean, it's gotten bad. I mean, I feel like we're under a police state here because you don't have any freedom to move without wondering, okay, am I going to be asked to show my papers? You know, are you a U.S. citizen? Dude, I was born in Iowa. I mean, I've got my birth certificate. What more do you want?
It'd be wild with your accent if they didn't believe you're American.
Right?
Yeah.
But then, of course, you know, you look at your actors in movies and that. I mean, they're from London. They got perfect English. You know, you can't hear that Cockney or English accent that they're notorious for. I mean, there's a lot of training for speech that they use, and it's possible, but that's too far out of my hands for a person of my stature.
Yeah, it's funny how they'll even singing they'll lose their accent. You know, like the Rolling Stones, they don't sound British when they sing their song, and
Mm-hmm.
uh, and then sometimes they do the fake American accent, that's a Southern American accent, on some of their songs, like
Yeah.
"Faraway Eyes." You ever heard that one?
Yeah.
He does a Southern drawl, and the whole song is pretty neat. That was pretty neat.
It's
Yeah,
a trick. It's a
yeah,
trick.
yeah,
I mean, and then of course, me being from the Midwest and moving to the South in Texas, it's like I've taken on my own complete different accent between
yeah.
Midwest and Southern. So it's like, okay, which one are you? You're a fake. No, I'm just a transplant.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
but
How
yeah,
long? How young were you when you moved to Texas?
I moved in 2011 actually. So I was in my 40,
Oh, okay.
30s and 40 area there. Um, I spent my entire life up in Iowa, only a state and a half away from your neck of the woods.
Yeah. Not that far.
I mean, I was only like 3 hours from Minnesota, so I've been
Yeah,
up to Upper Michigan, been up there near the border, that beautiful country up there, especially when
yeah.
you get up there in the northern woods territory. It's gorgeous. I love it. Uh, did some camping up there one year, and it was just outstanding. Great fishing, great, uh, seeing nature the way it's intended to be. Not having a whole bunch of the word I'm looking for, industrial progress in the area.
Yeah.
It's really nice. I mean, you can really see what America was like before the Industrial Revolution.
Yeah.
And I kind of wish we could get away from the industrialization of the world, because we have taken so many things for granted with that, and we have destroyed our environment doing it. But they don't want to see that. They want to see, oh, we're making money. Yeah,
Well,
it's really disgusting.
there will be. Some people think that there will be a bit of an exodus out of the cities here eventually, as especially since so many people can work online and stuff like that. And, there's not so much of a need to have to come to one place to make your living.
Yeah,
So, might be more opportunities in the future. Yeah,
yeah.
to get out, get away from it all.
Well, that's just it. I mean, it's like here in the States, they're trying to push away from the work at home aspect. They want everyone in the office.
Yeah, yeah.
Um,
Same
but
thing
yet
here.
they've
I
got,
mean, yeah,
but yet they've got positive proof that's been shown that production is actually increased when you work from home than if you're in
yeah,
that cubicle in the office.
yeah,
Get away from sterilization, you're more relaxed, and you can get more done.
yeah,
Uh, so, and don't get me wrong, I mean, there are some businesses where work from home just won't work, even in office space.
yeah, yeah.
Uh, so
My
it's really a gambling game.
my nephew moved to Australia. He was lucky. He's an engineer of some kind, and yeah, he had the job that he could do from anywhere. And so him and his wife moved to Australia for a year, and he did his work from Australia. So it worked out
That'd be a
very
nice
nicely.
change.
Oh yeah, that'd be really nice. I mean, what
I'd
a
love to go to
beautiful city.
Australia to visit. I think
Yeah,
that'd be a beautiful country to go visit.
yeah. Well, and to be able to do your job from there, so you can just stay there for a whole year, not just a week or two,
Hmm.
but
Yeah,
really get to know the place. Although he had to
yeah,
keep his schedule, a little. I think he said something like he had to start at 4 in the morning every morning because he still had to
yeah,
be.
because
He
of
had
the
to
time
overlap.
zone.
Yeah, he had to overlap at least some of his time with the time that they were at work here in Canada. So yeah, he would get up every weekday morning and he was at work by 4 o'clock in the morning or something like that. But then he was done early, and he'd go spend the rest of the day out the beach or wherever, right? So
Yeah, get his 8 hours in or whatever, and be done. And
yeah,
have an
yeah,
entire day working for him. I mean, That'd be
Yeah,
nice. Yeah. Oh, I'm done with work. It's noon. Let's go eat lunch. Let's go to the beach. Let's go do this. Let's go.
that's right. Yeah,
But
it sure sounded nice. Yes, nice
um,
lifestyle if you can do it.
yeah, that's the key right there. If you can do it, not everyone's
So
geared up for that.
if you, as you've been putting stuff into the website, did you see any issues with how the everything I've got written out there?
No, actually, it's flowing nicely. I haven't had to make any editorial changes on it. Um, I mean, it's got a nice, it's got a human touch to it, which makes a difference. Yeah, you can tell you used AI to help, but you
Yeah,
can tell there's humanity involved in it. So it's not 100% AI driven. Uh, I mean, I'm even using AI a little bit to help with designing the website.
yeah.
So, I mean, it helps.
Um,
It's cut
yeah.
back my work quite a
Well,
bit.
I've been using Claude so much, and I'm liking Claude the most these days.
Mhm.
And I've been using it so much, I'm hitting my limit just about every day.
Yeah,
And yeah, and
I am
I don't
hitting
know
my
if I
limit
have.
every day within like 2 hours.
Yeah, yeah. And it's weird how it works. Like I don't know exactly how they work these limits because like one day there it said your limit is you can't use it again till 11 o'clock in the morning. And so when 11 o'clock hit, I asked it one little question, and it said, "Okay, you're over your limit now until 4:30." I was like, "Well, I thought this was a day-long limit or something. You know,
Yeah.
it's only moved it ahead 4 hours." And
Mhm.
it only took like one quick little question, and I was already over my limit. And
Yeah, it's
anyway,
their
so
that's their
I don't understand
strategy to
about
really
that.
push for you to pay for their service.
Yeah, yeah, I think there's more and
I've
more companies do
actually
that.
I've actually been training my home AI. I've been training it to work with Claude to get some of its information. I mean, I know I don't have the power behind the system that Claude would, but
Yeah,
it can use, it's able to use some of the training to give better results. That's the main thing I'm looking at. I'm training it. I mean, it has
yeah,
some basic training to it, but now I got to train it to be what I need it to be, my talking style, what I'm looking for that. And it's picking up on it. It's just,
so it's like it'll refer to it'll automatically on its own ask Claude a question to help get an answer that you're asking it.
I can set it up that way, but what I've got it doing is I've had it scraping through Claude's database a little bit to get, okay, well, this part works with this idea and that, but it's doing its own thinking. It's just connecting up to it a little bit and saying, oh, okay, this is how I'm going to work this better and print it out here for the user. Um, Even with my app that I use, with my system that I use, I can connect up Claude directly to it. I can connect Open AI to it. I can connect Gemini to it.
Yeah,
So I can access them all on the same page.
yeah, yeah,
But of course, with the big names like that, I still hit that, you've used your tokens or,
yeah.
you've used the amount of time you want. Um, but I've been having my one agent going around scraping the web, looking for more human input ideas on how to get the information to flow. So it is trainable. Um, it hasn't reached any sort of consciousness, thank God. I don't need to have it sitting there doing things on its own like that.
Yeah,
But it's neat because you can program it to do that. Where it'll take over. I can set up my AI agent to start doing things automatically on my computer for me to help progress me through whatever project I'm working on. Even to
yeah,
the point of, oh, well, we need to open this app so you can work with this app to provide a better aspect of what you need to do. And it'll open the app and say, try this app. Click on the link, and there's the app open up in my computer, and I'm working on it. It's nice. It does help automate things, but you still have to have that human input in order for it to do so, which is nice. It's nice safeguard. You know, you don't have to
Have
worry
you
about the
heard?
machine turning on you.
Yeah. Did you have you heard much about? I know the latest news with the people that make Claude. What is it? Agentic? Is it Agentic?
Anthropic,
Anthropic. Yeah,
anthropic.
Anthropic. Anyway, you heard their latest machine. They said they can't release it because it's so powerful. It'll hack everybody's systems
Mm-hmm.
out there.
Mm-hmm.
What now? This whole thing, I kind of, I have a concern about it, the way what they're doing, even right now, because they said it's so powerful that it can find ways to exploit other systems, people's banking systems or whatever, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so they said that they didn't dare release it to the public because hackers out there could hack on it and steal money and screw with people's systems. So what they decided to do was they released it to 40 companies out there so that they could use it to beef up their own computer systems to fix all these ways they could be hacked. Right? My question is, how can they trust those 40 companies? Now that
Right.
they have access to this, what's to say that either an employee there or the whole company doesn't use this to hack their competition?
Exactly.
Right? Right now, they could be using that same thing to find all the exploits and then get proprietary information, and nobody would ever know. Suppose that you can't track to see where this came from. That somebody hacked you.
Mm-hmm.
Who's doing it, right?
Mm-hmm.
So where's the incentive for them not to use it? All these companies are out there competing. They're competing. They're part of the capitalist system. So
Right.
what's to stop them right now from using this new tool in a way to gain an advantage from all the other companies in the same business? And
Well, exactly. You know they're going to do that.
oh yeah, and even if yeah, for sure, guaranteed they're going to do that. Which should be that's illegal activity. And then it's not only just hacking other competitors like in America, but other companies in other countries. Like there's no reason why they wouldn't hack everything they could get out of China. They've always complained about China being such a big competitor. Well, here's their big advantage. Of course, they're going to take advantage of that. They're going to go steal everything they can out of China or other countries. And anyway, I find that very bizarre that you can't trust the public, but you're going to trust these 40 companies, right?
Yeah.
And then it's not just the company. Like every employee in that company then has access to it. They're just average people, right?
Mm-hmm.
What's
They're
going to
just
stop
average
them from
people.
using? Yeah,
Well, exactly. And there's people that are smart enough when it comes to computer system. I'm sure they could figure out how to download the basic code so they could use it for nefarious purposes.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, these people that work in the computer systems, IT service, they're not stupid. They know more about these computers than anybody else in the world. They know about the programming. They know how to do it. They know how to manipulate it. And, that's one of those things that is a case of where, okay, we know we can build it, but should we build it?
Well,
Should we
but you give
really
it to
build
enough people. You give it to enough people, though, somebody's going to go, well, I don't. It's I better do it before somebody else does kind of attitude, right?
Mm-hmm.
They think, well, somebody else is going to hack this system and take a big advantage. Well, it better that's me, right?
Yeah. Yeah, that's just it. I mean, they're going to use it for purposes taking on their competition. All it takes is one, like you said, all it takes is one employee, and with no moral boundaries. Oh, I'm going to help my company out because the company wants me to do something. Oh, let's type this command in and hack the hell out of our competitor and put them in financial ruin. Okay, well, that leads into monopolies.
Yeah. And that's what everybody's trying to do now, anyway.
Yeah. And it's like, and that'll actually be the death knell for capitalism. If we end up with all these monopolies where it's just these very few companies owning everything.
Yeah.
Where's the competition then? Because you can't have proper competition inside your own business.
There's two ways capitalism can die. Two major different ways. One is where it ends up as like a monarchy and somebody's like the king, or the other way is that everything collapses and then, or somehow it ends up that we, although this is the least likely scenario, is that we all end up equal. That's the least likely scenario. It's far more likely that one person just takes over for everything.
I think it'd be better if we were all equal. I mean, seriously, in
yeah.
that situation, I mean, it's like, okay, you had your capitalism, you made your billions of dollars. Now it's our turn to put you down.
Yeah,
That's what needs to be done. I mean,
to me, that's what we're doing
like,
with this whole chaos system here, is trying to make sure that that's the way it goes, right?
exactly. I mean, it's like, it's also, I'm also looking at, we've touched on the government end of this numerous times. We really need to get Congress people or parliamentary people, how, depending on what your country's system is, they need to start listening to the people that put them in the office, not the party. The party doesn't know what it's doing, or doesn't know what the people actually want. It's the people that put you in office because they believe in your policies, but then you don't follow through with your policies. You go off on these tangents. Well, okay, so we put you in office to do what we said, and you went in office and said, oh, well, I'm going to do what the money says.
No bigger glaring example than Trump being the peace president.
Right. I'm trying to figure
no
out.
more
I'm trying to
forever
figure
wars.
that one out. I'm trying to figure that. Yeah, no more forever wars. Meanwhile, here we are starting one in Iran. Trump notoriously said here just before they invaded Iran, he was like, well, since I didn't get the Nobel Peace Prize, the heck with being peaceful.
Yeah.
I'm just going to focus on war. And it's like, okay, well, now you've turned your true colors out and people are noticing. He has fractured his base. People are leaving his base left and right. Especially the Christian right. He's lost a lot of them with that, with the spat with the Pope. And it's like, this is a man trying to tell the world that the Pope doesn't know anything about theology. And of course, he's got a vice president pushing this narrative too. Okay, the man's a pope because he knows his theology. He knows what the principles of the church are. You don't just sit there and get to be the pope because, oh, I'm here. You really got to have a reason to be even chosen for it. As far as I'm concerned, Trump is showing his ass to the Pope because this is the first American Pope we've ever had. And he think, well, since it's an American Pope, I can control the Catholic Church. It don't work that way. It just doesn't work that way. And
it is weird to hear. It is weird to hear the Pope talk now because of his American accent. You never hear a Pope sound like an American ever before.
No, it's always that broken foreign. You can hear the accent, foreign accent. And I'm sure it's the same thing when it comes to the other countries listening to the Pope right now. They're like,
I'm sure.
How do we understand this guy? He talks like this. And it's like, well, he obviously gets the word out because he got put in the position. I mean, he's taking the church back to what its original foundations were, which is peace, harmony amongst the masses, anti-war stance, because that's not peace. That's killing people unnecessarily. All of this stuff. He's standing his ground as to this is what the church is supposed to be, not what the government wants it to be, And I know that's where a lot of the spat's coming from with Trump and him, is because Trump doesn't like taking no for an answer. He doesn't like being proven wrong. And he'll deny he's wrong even though he's had multiple proof of the fact shown to him.
This latest attempt on his life there, that's I don't know if that's going to help him or what. Yeah. That was not a very good attempt. It doesn't sound like
No, guy didn't even get out of the lobby. He's still alive. They've got him in custody.
Yeah.
They didn't know what was going on. They heard the gunshots, and you hear reports of the gunman's been killed. The problem's over. And then here, a few minutes later, you're seeing a picture of the guy on the ground, no shirt, cuffs behind his back, perfectly alive, just like, well, I got busted.
Yeah.
It's like, don't put out information if you don't know the facts.
Yeah.
I mean, everyone's in there cowering. The president was evacuated, vice president was evacuated, so on and so forth. And then you got the choice of words that Carolyn Levitt used just half hour to an hour before the shooting started.
Yeah.
She's like, "Yep, there's going to be shots fired. There's going to be shots fired tonight." Okay, well, that sounds like a setup. Let's let the cat out of the bag.
Well, Trump was going to do a stand-up routine, and that's what she was actually referring to. I don't know if you heard about his. He was going to get up there and he was going to roast the media, and he was very eager to do this, I guess. And anyway, I know that's what you meant. What you're talking about. But you said shot fired. He was going to be, throwing zingers at the media.
Instead, it turned out being bullets shot in the building.
Yeah, aerial bullets. Yes. Yeah.
But still, the conspiracy theorists are going to be all over it.
Oh yes,
they're going to be all over. Oh, it's another staged attack and things like that. Yeah. So,
I don't think it's staged. No, I don't think so.
No, I don't think so either. Yeah. But anyway, well. Yeah. Do we have anything else we need to cover today? Is there anything you wanted to discuss, bring up?
Not really. I did get some good news I'd like to mention.
Sure.
Off topic, totally off topic.
Hey,
you remember the
open discussion?
Yeah, the PDF file that I sent you there about the aquatic ape theory about. I sent that off to a guy. Had you ever heard of that before, the aquatic ape theory?
Not until I saw that PDF you sent me.
Way back in the 50s, there was a guy that first came up with this idea. And he thinks that humans lived spent some time in the water. And those adaptations led to really chubby babies and things like this. If you ever know if the human baby, you ever see the original Nirvana album cover, where it's a baby swimming underwater? Hey, remember that?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Human babies can swim and they float, and that's why they're all chubby. And that's one of the reasons why this guy came up with the idea that humans must have lived, at least spent some time in the water to get these adaptations for living in the water, right? And so anyway, I really believe it's true. And so anyway, what you saw there was my attempt to add on to that theory and kind of do some corrections on it and stuff like that. Myself, I don't think we actually lived in the water at all, but we spent a lot of time in the water. And mostly, in my theory, is that it was the place we went to get away from predators. And because we weren't living in the trees anymore, so we lived along the edge of the water. And if a lion came, we ran into the water. Right. And so anyway, there's in the aquatic ape theory, there's certain people that are into it and believe in this stuff, and that are been advocating for that theory. Anyway, it's kind of dropped off the deep. Back in the 70s, 80s, there's a fair bit of talk about it. And the regular anthropologists out there, scientists, really didn't like this talk. So they were out there trying to debunk it and make sure nobody talked about it anymore. And it really kind of fell off the cliff. And for many decades now, hardly anybody talks about it. So anyway, there's this one guy in Australia, and when it was more of a bigger topic, he was kind of the biggest voice at the time. And today he's still the only person that's really talking about this stuff. And anyway, so I sent him the email with that PDF there, and he got back to me on Friday, and he's really interested in what I had to say, and he does these talks online that he kind of stopped in the last year or so, but he wants to restart them. And he asked me if I wanted to come and talk. So I might be able to get on, be able to have a discussion with him and kind of the group of people that are into this stuff. And
That's awesome.
so anyway, I'm very excited that he's looking at my stuff, and perhaps we can work together and put together even a better drafted
Theory.
paper on this. Yeah, get the theory down a little better. And you know who else is interested in this stuff is David Attenborough.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
he's
know
like
who he is,
99. Yeah, he's like 99 years old now. So I don't know if he'll live long enough. But about 10 years ago, he said he really wanted to make a documentary about the aquatic ape theory, a new version. And I don't know, maybe we can encourage him to do that. So
Yeah.
I don't
Or at
know.
least he can point you to someone who's a little younger to help get it done.
Yeah. He put out.
Yeah,
He's
I
still
know.
putting stuff out. He's still putting stuff out. He put out a documentary last year, so he's still getting stuff out there. So.
Well, I've been noticing. I forwarded those emails to you. We've been getting a bunch of emails in our admin account dealing with scientific journals and that wanting your input on these on something. I've been forwarding them to you. So
yeah, well, there's the one there that you forwarded me. I don't know if there's more. I only noticed the one.
Yeah.
But the one you forwarded to me is actually a scam.
Yeah. I kind of figured most of them are. I knew the one was because it's that their Dr. Brian Charles. I just
that
one.
Yeah, that one.
I thought you'd be interested in this. I wasn't meaning reaching out to him and whatnot, but the Dr. Charles Brian Charles. I'm like, oh, if only they knew.
Yeah. That's because I never mentioned to you guys, but I didn't. I just found out. I saw somebody else had posted something, and their link was to this SSRN or something. Anyway, it's some kind of institute. It's some kind of publication place for people that are in the sciences. They can, they publish papers, right? And then they send them to these publications where they publish their scientific papers. This is what they call a pre-publication site, where people can pre-publish a paper, and so it's not officially published, but then they can share it and stuff, and it's kind of to help work out the kinks before they do a real publication, right? And so anyway, they have these pre-publication places that you can publish a paper. So I thought I'd try it. So I had ChatGPT, I think, at the time, or it might have been one of the others. But anyway, had AI help me write this whole scientific paper, kind of scientific sounding paper about the whole KAOS system. And so I got it in there, and they were supposed to give me. It said on their site that it would be if you put something, enter something in there, it would be checked, and then get this pre-publication published thing. And but first they have to check it and give the okay. And it said that they would do that within 2 to 3 days, on average. Well, it ended up taking them almost 3 weeks. I never heard back from them for like 3 weeks, eh? But then just last week, I got a notification from them saying that yes, we accepted your paper. So it's in there now. So they accepted it. It's in there now. But I guess that's how that scam our company group there. Everybody that publishes in there, they send them all one of these scams.
They start sending stuff. Yeah. But the thing that's weird about it is they're sending it to the admin web email here on KAOS, on the KAOS website. So, it's like, well, maybe somebody scraped something from the website that they realize, this might be interesting to push off, so we'll, who knows? I mean, maybe that's what some of these are. I'm keeping an eye on them. I'm trying to check the websites before I forward them to you. I'll do that better. Matter of fact, today we got another one I'm going to look into. It's probably another scam, but it still doesn't make sense why they're saying it to Aiden unless they're combining the website to you because Chaos Now, Chaos Institution, that your website dealing with chaos or your paper dealing with with chaos and the theories behind it and that it's like, okay, well, they went to the website and they probably automatically assumed you're getting the admin emails. So, but I've been watching that. I think it's kind of funny that these are coming in all of a sudden. Though I'm like, okay, well, interesting.
I was pretty surprised to see Dr. Brian. That caught my attention too.
I had to send that one to you just for the joke aspect.
They obviously don't know me. That's obvious. Yeah.
Yeah. It's like if you guys only knew he was a welder.
Yeah. That's definitely a first where somebody referred to me as Dr. Brian. That's definitely a first.
Yeah, that's kind of neat that they did that. Boy, you don't want to jump on that because you don't want to get nailed for impersonating a PhD. You'd be laughed out of the system. So, yeah, that's neat though that I'm seeing these things, which means your information's getting out there and it's drawing them to the website. Yeah, that's the only way they can get the email address to send it to us. Send it to you because that is the only email I've got linked on the website is the admin email account currently. Once we get bigger than that, I'll probably set up a support link and things like that so people can report problems. Hey, this isn't working right. We'll worry about that when we approach it. But right now, I mean, we're not at that stage to even have to worry about it. So, but yeah, it's Andy quit. So, 6-month-old puppy is 80 pounds. Yeah, I just thought it was interesting. That's why I had to forward that one to you, though. It's like, Dr. Brian? That was just a laugh on its own. I'm sorry. I mean, I'm not trying to disparage you or anything, but the title just blew me out of the water.
Yeah. First thing I did, I put that into Claude and I showed him that email. I said, "What's this about?" And it told me it was a scam. Yeah, lots of people complained about it, I guess.
Yeah, I should do that with AI. Have those emails checked and make sure they're not scams, so I'm not forwarding you a scam. Because who knows, you may get a real one.
Yeah, that's another good use of AI. Is check things like that. Just don't assume anything. Run it through there and see what it says. Very helpful, man. Very, very helpful.
It is. I'll have to start doing that more. I mean, I've been using the AI. I've been getting better on my prompting with it, so I'm getting more reliable responses. That's the hard part with AI, having the proper prompts.
Oh yeah.
You can't just randomly throw out, oh, well, I want to do this. It's not going to know what you want to do because you're not prompting it specifically for what you're needing it to do.
That's a whole art on its own. That's going to be.
Oh, it is. They're actually doing classes in college for it.
Yes, that's right. Yeah, and for good reason.
It's well, yeah. I mean, it's getting to the point. I mean, that's the only way you're really going to get ahead in the world now. You need to have the AI prompting.
I saw something on somebody had posted about because they also, we were talking about the limits that they have on tokens, and there's some. This has something to do with tokens, I guess. But the longer your question is, your prompt, then I guess it takes up more tokens or something like that.
Yeah, if I recall correctly, the token is every word or every character in your prompt. And it's classified. Okay, you get to ask these so many things. It takes up these so many tokens, and then once you run out of tokens on the free tiers, like you're out. Until 24 or 48 hours later, or whatever it is. Depending on the AI.
Somebody was mentioning if you talk like a caveman, you save a lot of tokens. So you just just very brief, very bluntly, just say,
Yeah.
I don't even know how to really pretend like a caveman, but it's like it's very don't you leave out all the ands and buts and this and that, and just say very bluntly exactly what you want to say, and that way it saves you a lot of tokens, and it still
And I've
catches
done that.
the same message.
Well, and I've done that a couple times, and AI's got totally confused on what I'm trying to accomplish.
Okay, yeah.
Especially in coding, and it doesn't matter which I use, Claude or whatever. They all come back with the same problem. It's not doing what I wanted to do. I don't know if it's a case my prompting's not accurate, or if my prompting and how the systems are thinking about what my prompting says is going, okay, this, this is what we see.
I worry without the detail. Yeah, it's just going to give you that.
Which is why I like having my personal AI system on my computer, because I'm not restricted with the tokens issue.
Yeah.
So because of the simple fact it's not a system that anyone's using but me. So, it works out. I've yet to ever run into a case of, oh, you're out of questions, or tools aren't usable in that with my AI. I mean, I've sat there and gone for like 4 hours on my AI. It's free, and I haven't ran into a problem. Meanwhile, I go on to Chat GPT or Gemini or Claude, and it's like, okay, I've been here for 15 minutes and I can't do anymore.
Yeah.
So
yeah, that's frustrating when you hit the end and you want more you've not done the thing you want to do.
You haven't even gotten all the way through the process to refine it. It's very frustrating. And
I'm thinking more and more I might pay the $20 here.
Yeah.
See what that gets me.
Yeah, I was looking into the Claude, doing one of the Claude paid levels. It's ridiculously priced for what you're getting out of the deal. I mean, I really don't think it's worth the price. I mean, for a decent setup, you're putting out $100 and some odd a year for it. But
it's going to add up.
Yeah. And they claim unlimited access. Well, there's always going to be a limit on something like that.
Oh yeah, there's still limits, I think. Yeah.
Yeah, it's just like a lifetime supply. There's a limit.
Yeah. Well, there's tiers too, isn't there? Like, there's a $20 and then you can pay more for a higher tier. And stuff like that.
Yeah, they got a total of 3 tiers. They got the free tier. It's either a $20 or $30 tier, and then you got a $200 tier or something like that. And it's like, I don't have that kind of money randomly available.
And then on top of that, I've never looked in it. I don't know how this works, but I've heard people talk about you can end up paying by the token too.
Yeah.
Like,
and that could get really expensive.
Yeah. I can see that. These are people like some of their personal AIs, like these agents, I guess. You send them on a task, and you have no idea how many tokens they're going to use. Next thing you know, you get this massive bill. Because it took some weird way to try to do the thing you asked it to do, and it took a really long way of getting there, and it ended up costing you a whole bunch of extra tokens. So,
right,
and you don't have any control over this. Next thing you know, you just got this big bill. So I don't know how any of that works.
It'd be similar to like back in the day when you had to deal with the roaming charges on your cell phone.
Yeah.
You're paying by the minutes for it. You're sitting here paying $60, $70 for the service itself, and then you're getting hit for every minute that you use the phone. And if you go on roaming, it's even more expensive. You don't know you're hitting roaming until you get your bill.
Yeah.
I ended up with when I first got my first cell phone, that was going on. This was back in the 80s. When I got my first cell phone, it was one of those suitcase ones, the old shoulder bag one. Yeah. I got one of my bills. I'm sitting there. I let my brother-in-law at the time use it. I ended up with a $500 phone bill out of that, just on the minutes alone.
Yeah.
We're paying 30 cents a minute.
Yeah.
you know, and then top off, okay, now all of a sudden I'm seeing roaming charges. I'm seeing, seeing the actual how much I'm paying for the service. So all of a sudden I'm up to an $800-900 phone bill. I'm like, for what?
Yeah. Yeah. You don't even know what you did with that. Yeah.
Yeah.
And it
And
catches
then
you totally off guard.
my brother-in-law at the time, he was a teenager. He's sitting there using the phone and calling all over the place. Like,
Yeah.
dude,
Yeah.
caught him one time. He was calling to somebody in frickin' Singapore. I'm like, what? I'm like, you gonna pay that bill?
Yeah.
No,
Yeah.
you
He's
are. Like,
acting.
no, you are.
Yeah. Yeah. He's acting like it's free or
Needless to say,
something.
my
Yeah.
father-in-law at the time ended up paying that bill.
Yeah.
Yeah, I told him, you don't touch the phone anymore.
Yeah. No kidding. You lost your privilege there. Yeah.
Yeah. I was working hard for that cell phone, and to get hit with that, and like, I had a $900 cell phone bill. I'm like, what the hell? So I knew I was doing some roaming because, I was in construction at the time. So I was going to different sites. So of course I was going to hit roaming, but I kept my calls on it to a very minimal, you know, and he just went completely ape with it. And I'm like, okay, here's your phone bill.
Yeah.
And of course they shut my phone down because I couldn't afford the bill.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, I don't need it that bad anyway. That's just an extra expense I really didn't need.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. Yeah. Take a break from it for a while.
yeah, and I didn't get back into using a cell phone until they came out with the little Nokias. The real cell phone that was strong. That thing
Yeah.
would go
Yeah.
through anything and still work.
Yeah.
So, all right. Well,
Well,
I think we've kind of cut things, everything we can. Hopefully, we'll
yeah,
see
I
Rami
think we
next
could.
week
Yeah, also.
because I
Yeah,
know he's
other than
probably got
that,
a
I
bunch
mean,
of questions.
yeah, yeah. And everything's going well with them. Yeah, you're just busy, but it's good to be busy. So,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, he's pretty excited with the way things are going. So that's really
That's
good.
good. And I'm sure it takes off all the stress when it comes to dealing with the vape shop issue too. So,
Distraction anyway, that's for sure.
yeah.
Okay, man.
All
All right,
right. Well,
Edward.
you have a good day. We'll see you next week.
We'll see you next week.
And
And
as soon as I get,
thanks for everything you do for us. You're doing the
oh,
meetings now. You're
absolutely.
doing that. You're doing the website. I really appreciate all that you do for us. Eh?
No
I'll make sure you
problem. I
know
mean,
that.
I'm really behind this. I think I'm promoting it every way. I've even gone to the point that I'm looking at doing business cards for myself with Chaos Institution, putting a QR code on it so they can click on the QR code and go to the website. I'm really getting into this, and I'm enjoying it. It feels like I'm actually accomplishing something
Yeah, the
that'll
card,
make
the
an
business
impact.
card. Maybe I should
Yeah,
look into that too. Yeah, when you get
they're
the
not that
QR code thing
expensive.
figured out. Yeah.
Yeah, they're not that
Let me
expensive.
know. Yeah, yeah. I'll do that.
And I can even print up the QR code
Yeah,
and get it to you.
yeah.
I've
Well, I
got the
just need a
software on the
copy of it,
computer
and
to do that.
then I can
Hmm.
get that printed off myself.
Yeah, I'll get it taken care of and sent to you. That way you have that available. That way when you do get into meetings like with Mr. Rutt and things like that, it's like, well, here's my business card. If you got any questions, reach out to me. Our website's on there with the QR code. You know, I think it would go a lot further. It would help promote it better.
Yeah.
So, food for thought.
Yeah, for sure. Okay, Edward.
All right.
Thanks a lot, man.
Thank
Have a
you.
good
You have a
week.
good one. You too.
Okay, bye.